Okay, Scorpio, this is going to be your reading for the spring season of 2025. Here we go. Oh, man. The first card, getting near the end of the road here. First card that we have for you from the Gaia deck for your spirituality reading is 14, the King of Air. Again, everybody's out of their element in order to really accept, I feel, these energies coming from above. But no matter, King of Air, he's large and in charge, this one. And there may be a lot of things going through your mind or people's words going through your mind. I'm getting those hawks spewing out all those symbols as being speech. And there's either our speech or others. Things are sinking in on deeper levels is the sense that I'm getting. Yeah. And they're meant to, is what they said. And we're meant to accept this and analyze this and feel how we feel about these words that are coming out toward us in some kind of way. So there's a sense of flippancy that I'm getting in the past. Now, this is our past energy. So we have been through this already. We're understanding that there's certain people's words are sinking deeper into our soul than normal. I'll leave it at that as we move into the next card. Dealing with the present energies of the Scorpio, we have the divine masculine and feminine. I'm saying divine, but masculine and feminine energy. And here it is completely in balance. There's half and half here suggested. So I feel like what the universe is trying to balance you out in is your masculine and feminine self. They're trying to make you wholly aware that we need to receive as much as we give out. And, trying to strike that balance within that is what I get here. Whereas in the past, I feel like we may have been imbalanced, and that's why people's words hit us in such a way. We may have reacted quite highly. So for feminine, we may have been overexposed in the masculine energy, meaning we may have taken action quite quickly from what people said, and maybe not enough time to discern before we do this. And if you're in feminine energy, we may have been overgiving, is the sense that I get in that way, in order to accomplish things. That's what I get here. Or, yeah, like with a goal in mind. And we should be giving from the heart, not with intention, I give you, you give me. What are you going to give me back? This kind of thing. It's almost like, yeah. Okay, so there's a need in the present here to regulate the masculine and feminine self within. Now, as we move forward, trying to keep things simple, but I'm having a hard time through this whole phase of readings to really put things into words. One, because I'm sensing things deeper, but I'm also having a hard time expressing, right? So are you having this problem? Could be. You may have a lot of feelings within that you can't express outward to anyone, or don't know how to, or can't put into words, right? To be understood in this way. And they're going, be patient with the self, be patient with ourselves, and we will get headway eventually. It will just come to us. Now, as we move into the future, we have the body-mind complex here. There's a lot of places we were imbalanced in the past, is what they're saying. Now, again, it doesn't mean that we're totally out of whack, but it means that we might have had a lot of extra energy going outward, where that energy could, if we were in balance, could have stayed with us. But it was depleting to the system, okay? Now, yeah. And that's what I was trying to express before I flipped this card was, do we have stuff rolling around in our head that we have a hard time expressing? The answer is yes, we do. And not only a hard time expressing, like we don't want to express it, but how do we put it into words? We don't even know how to formulate an answer here to speak of. Now, this is reflecting in our universe, is what they said. This mismatch of energy, this imbalance of energy has in the past been in our universal flow. Now, We are starting to calm these energies that were so out of balance. And because of this, our outer world is starting to reflect that back to us. So we're starting to see changes in this. But again, we're still going to have some mishaps here because we haven't, made the solution yet to all of these imbalances. Okay, yeah. Feeling. So we got 2 air elements and a fire in the middle. And yeah, a lot of mind thought going through our system. And we may be taking action before we think. Okay, here we go. So the next row on top of the King of Air, and that's, again, I think we're taking accountability higher of our own words that we tell, like that we speak outward. And we're also, inspecting words that come at us in the same way. We're inspecting those more crisply and cleanly. So things that people say to us and how they say it. And, there's a sense of discernment there. Okay. So on top of that, the chakra card, Princess of Wands. Usually about curiosity, but here she seems to hold a sense of power and wonder here. Yeah, I do get that. I feel like the Scorpios kind of they're evolving to take things more seriously is really what I get overall. We're taking people more seriously at their word. But again, sometimes people are not of their word, so we're getting confused there. But we are figuring it out. We're more closely inspecting things to see this more clearly. And that's that curiosity to go in there and figure things out and illuminate what is truth and what is not truth. I feel like in the past we kind of just let things fly. Like people say things and we don't let it affect us either way. And sometimes we should do that. Sometimes we shouldn't. Sometimes we should really inspect what people say because they will tell you about themselves without even you asking. And that's the ability to listen to what they're saying rather than what they do. Some people don't stand up for their word, this kind of thing. I'm getting all of these levels here. And the ability to figure out. I feel like the Scorpio wants to figure out in the future who's telling me a BS line and who's not. And I want to be able to know and decipher that. And even though I have a gut reaction, I want to be more finely tuned in this so I don't fall for anything anymore, is what I get here. Like just a more fine-tuned ability to inspect what is coming at them personality-wise, like someone who, may be a compulsive liar or whatever, and not giving them the freedom to, lay down a bunch of garbage before we wise up or something like that. It's kind of what I'm getting. So as we move into the masculine and feminine role here, and I do feel like the universe working with us to try and highly balance this area. So we're being it's highly felt in the field when we're overly action oriented and overly giving. Like these things, these boundaries are starting to rein into a more balanced state. On top of that, masculine and feminine, we get the strength card. Yeah, the orange. Sacral. It is about I feel the more balanced we get, the more strength we have. That's a given. And again, with our body and mind will be the same as well. If we can get our mind to agree with what we're doing. Because again, I felt like the Scorpio was just jumping too soon. I feel like people would say something and they'd either get angry with that or agree with that or, they'd react to that too soon before they let it really wash over their consciousness and go, wait a minute. I don't know if that person was really serious when they said that. That kind of thing. This is what I get. And the masculine and feminine balancing out is creating a great strength. Now, the body and mind as we move into the future. So once we accomplish one goal here of balancing, and really how I see it is the ability to receive and the ability to give. who do we choose to give to and who is willing to give to us and this kind of thing in equal balance, that we may have a problem with not discerning people properly, and then we overgive to them before we realize that these people are not what we think they are. Body and mind, on top of there, we get the chakra card of the 3 of coins. Yeah. I feel like the universe wants you to be more balanced in all of these areas so you work well with others. I feel like up to now, we're not working well with others. I think we have problems. They're showing me like sparks of energy going, and that's usually outbursts. So again, yeah, because the first place you're going to get frustration. So say you're someone who's working on time management and you never seem to have time for your things. So you're trying to schedule, when am I going to do this, that, and the other, get it all into a work week where you can figure it out. So now you've done that. And then a friend comes along, needs help, blah, blah, blah. And you're more than willing to help, but you set aside your stuff in order to help them, which is okay the first, second, maybe even third time you do it. But after the 4th time in that week, you've put away so much stuff, right, for yourself, time that was been allotted for yourself. You have to discern more highly who truly needs your help and who can either wait or does it have to be done today? Can you wait until da-da-da? I got to get this, da-da-da. And we may not even be expressing that we have a priority. We may just be taking our frustrations out on ourselves rather than explaining to the person, because I was having such a hard time formulating sentences, rather than telling the person, you know what, I really have a schedule here. Can it either wait or, is it an emergency? No. Okay. Can we do it another day or another time? Or can you give me a couple hours while I get this done and then I can help you after that? Oh, okay, sure. Okay. Then the frustration level's gone. And we don't have to sacrifice anything. We still get what we want and we're giving them what they want. And we just had to compromise by the timing of it, right? This kind of thing, I'm getting it's like that, but in a lot of areas in our life. Like we're taking action in places where we should do a little thinking. Oh, we have to sit and think, oh, I got a plan here. I have something scheduled here. Can I, do this another time? Yeah, no problem. Or, if you do, yeah, but I have a tight schedule. So, making people aware. I had to learn this when I was doing boundary making. Because sometimes, like I used to be the person that would just drop everything and run for friends. Like you need help? Yeah, boom, I'm gone. And there's nothing wrong with that per se. But when you sacrifice all of your time and then they get, and then when you're so far behind that you get mad at yourself for caving, this is the thing I get here. Yeah. And therefore we get bitterness, resentment against people that don't really deserve it, but we're mad really at ourselves, but we're taking it out on them and blah, 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 blah. So it's a lot of misplaced energy. And in the end, it makes for having a hard time dealing with people outside of us, like having a hard time making friends or being friendly in the community, working together, this kind of thing. That's what I'm getting. Okay. We got it out. Just keep talking. It'll come out eventually. Prince of Wands. On top of that energy, we have the Metatron cards here. What do we get for the geometry? The Ankh. Eternal life and sexuality is here. That's out of the blue. A moment. This may be within a partnership. We may have a hard time. Okay. Sorry. I was in a different realm here. We may have a hard time communicating with a partner when we don't want to be intimate. Yep. Because the Ankh is about eternal life between here, God, heaven, and the planet. And it's also, it can be a symbol for sexuality of the masculine and feminine within. Now, we are dealing with that masculine and feminine, but the sexuality here, it has to do with intimacy and a partner. We may be having to fend a partner off. They're going divine timing. I said, yeah, it's like, it's more like I can't speak up for myself when I don't want. So it's kind of like that. marriage material, I call it. When you get married, it's like a burden all of a sudden to have sex. It's not for enjoyment, it's because you have to. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but and well, I've never been married. So go figure. But that's the thing I'm getting here. It's like, and I think this person does enjoy that, but they don't enjoy being hounded, and they don't enjoy it when they're not in the mode for it. And if the partner, right? So there's just a lot of misunderstandings here, no matter. Okay, as we move into the strength card, wakey, bring the sex in there. Oh yeah, we're on YouTube. Can I say that? Well, I just did. So feminine, masculine, and feminine, the strength. Again, we're balancing that part of us out. And that will affect the partner, right? Because that's who we go outward or receive from. So this will be all in flux. So as we gain our strength with the masculine and feminine self, yeah, it's not just this reading. I had the last reading, I had a hard time communicating. But nonetheless, the strength comes with the complex wheel. And here I get the wheel of fortune is a little prickly. That's what they're getting me. It's like we're trying to put our wheel of fortune in. We're trying to put the coin in, turn the light on, whatever. We're trying to get things rolling here, and it's a bumpy ride. Why? Because we are not ourselves in balance. We're not in harmony with those around us because we're misinterpreting signs is the sense I get. And that doesn't necessarily mean in any particular area. It's just we're having a hard time discerning because we act too quick on what people say. That's the bottom line. So we just need to take some time to think about what people are saying before we react to it. Because we may be reacting too strongly or not reacting enough, So yeah, I get a prickly energy there. And that does make a person prickly when they misunderstand things. And I mean, we've all been in that position where you bark someone's head off and then you realize, oh, geez, sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I just, I'm stressed, whatever, right? But it seems like this one's doing it all the time, where they're starting to chew away at their esteem because they're not taking the moments needed in grace to digest a lot of this stuff. Simply that's what I'm getting. So on top of the 3 of coins, we get the colors of yellow and brown, joy, identity, and ego. So we may have an ego front that we're still having a hard time processing or laying into balance, right? That could be the problem here that's creating, because the ego will, that'll create so many bumps in your like, you want to speed down that quarter mile and there's speed bump after speed bump after speed bump. It's maddening. And the ego could very well do that. Yeah. And that's that yellow part of you that wants to go out joyfully. And again, very quickly. Yeah. We're losing our sense of identity is the sense they're giving me. To the point where, if we don't balance these levels out, we will not have any joy because we can't seem to get along with people. There's no problems with how they're treating us. It's our misinterpretation of what's going on or being said. And we don't give ourselves the time and patience to work it out. Okay? So again, there could be healing from the past. We may have habitual behavior in the past that is breaking, cycles that are breaking, that we are just continuing to treat in these ways, but it's actually not happening anymore. I'm getting that as well. Brown, comfort, home, and humble. Yeah, we need to feel comfortable in our own skin. And I don't know that the Scorpios found this yet. They're looking for home outside of them, but have they found the home within? I don't know. Like, I think they understand about inner me and outer me and how people observe me and how I truly am. I think they understand all of that. But I feel like, I don't know, something about the ego and being humble. We just, we might have to take a few more hits there to realize that is the sense. Yeah, I don't know how to put it in any other way there. Okay, so we'll get into the Isis cards here to shut things down, and we get the Lunar Queen, don't you know? The Scorpio in the moon. She of the celestial crescent. Yeah, there is mysteries abound having to do with the Scorpio, and within their own selves, they find themselves a mystery. Like, why didn't I? Da, da, da. Like, I see someone sitting there talking to themselves and having quite the conversation, and going, all over the place, like to the point where they're like, oh, why did I do that? I shouldn't have said that the way I said that, or I took that the wrong way, and blah, 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 blah. But again, that conversation's long gone, that person's gone home, and, so they're talking to themselves after the fact, and they're not solving the issue because they're not going back to that person. They're just squabbling within their own mind or within their own privacy, and they're going, oh, yeah, I shouldn't have said it that way, blah, 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 blah. So a lot that is hidden from others. And I think the problem here is we don't want to admit we're wrong. Well, who does, really? But to the degree that we won't fix the problem. Because that's the ego, right? Wanting to say, well, if I go to them and apologize, then I'm admitting I'm wrong. Sorry, my freaking microphone. So if we go to them and realize there's a problem, then suddenly we're wrong, and we can't deal with that, or it's harder to deal with that than it is or it's harder to apologize than it is to deal with that. So we just deal with that. This kind of thing, it's kind of backwards. But it will be to a point that it's so uncomfortable holding this back that we do need to talk about it. Because we see that it makes... for Shawna, like this complex wheel, the spikes on the end, like they're showing me that wheel. Again, there's another one like this. They're showing me cars with square tires. Like, that's a bumpy ride. It's not smooth. It doesn't go well. And we keep getting interrupted. This kind of thing. Are you someone that talks a lot and interrupts people before they get to say their piece? I know I have a problem with this. I get excited. And sometimes I get so much guidance on someone that I want to spit it all out. And then by the time you spit it all out, nobody's listening anyway. So there you go. This could be a problem too, is picking your timing on when to speak or what to say, discernment highly. There's a lot going on in the Scorpio mind. There's a lot going on in the Scorpio emotional field. But they're keeping it all to themselves, and they do need to talk to somebody. Whether it's a counselor, just a trusted friend. I feel like I don't know if it's nobody they can trust. They just don't know how to formulate a sentence to get it out there. Who to talk to, what to say. They don't want to admit they're wrong is really what it comes down to. And that's the ego. And yeah, you got to know when to lay that down in order to get through to people, because you'll be making enemies with the ego rather than friends in the future. And there is the energy for that, as long as we know where to put our ego in check, is what they said. In balance. In checks and in balance with the ego. But the Lunar Queen is here with all of her energy, and she closes the show with the mystery of whether or not the Scorpio will come out and be able to balance their ego enough to get along with others in the future more swimmingly. So that is your spring reading, Scorpio. Take care, have fun, and be kind.